Welcome to FCA Podcast. I'm Emilie Callesen Doulcet, and I'm the director of French Connection Academy. Today we have a wonderful pianist, Alexandre Kantorow, here as a guest. And thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Hello.
We are so happy that you're going to be teaching on our academy this summer.
Really, me too.
And it's going to be a wonderful team and everything. And it's going to be your teaching debut.
Yes, I know it's very cool when it's a teaching debut. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are here in the École Normale, which is also where you used to study.
Yeah, absolutely. The same class. This is the class of Rena Chereshevskaya, my teacher, and every week, every day, even sometimes before the competition, we would just come here, and it was nice because with Rena there was also the sense of proximity with the class. There was always going to be a lot of students who come to listen to every lesson, and there would be some students that she would say, come and accompany him in the concerto, and yeah, there was a big sense of group and friendship, and she would always be playing only with one hand like this. Look, this is how we do it. And I would play there. So yeah.
So it's really a familiar. This is
a
second
very
home.
Familiar, yeah. Yes.
And so what you just played before as the piece you chose to introduce this episode. So why did you choose this piece?
I love Wagner. I really think it is some of my favorite music. I sort of love this mixture of huge logic puzzle, and that often builds from very little cells at the beginning, and there's a whole world that unfolds, and he transforms everything, has a lot of meaning, and these long waves of sound. And on the piano, I think with this a constant search also for trying to imitate a lot of instruments, imitate a lot of people. So this is a great exercise when you know how it sounds, you know which instruments should be there, and you try to find it on the piano in your way. I think it's a good test of how much tools you have at your disposal. So it's really a piece also, and it's the end of the 4 hours of preparation, this death of Isolde. So you arrive a bit quick, you do a big shortcut, you arrive just at the end, but still you get this wave of sound and emotion that still comes at the end.
And it's also a specific arrangement you chose.
I think it's the classic one by Liszt. He used to transcribe a lot of Wagner, Beethoven, Berlioz, probably a way also to make people discover this music because they couldn't hear it often. And he's just genius, immediate way of making it, hearing voices. You don't hear the singing part, you hear only the orchestral part here in his arrangement, but it's so clear, the counterpoints, and he's always very creative in how he can use the piano to its fullest. He's really one of the first ones that really tried the best to show that the piano could just sort of destroy its own boundaries that was set at the beginning. And so yeah, he's really one of the forefront defenders of the piano.
Yeah, we can say. And what does this piece mean to you for your career also? Does it have a special link?
Actually, it's not a piece that I've played it 10 years ago, and I played it. I didn't stop playing it. I wanted to play it again 1 year ago, and I played sometimes. It's mostly just I really love playing orchestral pieces and transcribing them. I'm not a creator. I'm not a very. I never compose, and I feel somehow even if it's written, it's now you try your own ways. You see if you can improve some parts, and it's sort of the only sparks of little freedom of creativity that you feel that are part of what you make as a musician. So yeah, that's why I generally like orchestral pieces.
I see. That's so nice. And also you recently, this is a little change of subject, but you recently visited Denmark.
Yes.
For vacation.
Yes.
How was
it?
You
said for vacation.
Yeah.
How could you? No, yeah, I don't know. We wanted a bit of fresh air. Lots of summer festivals are south, open, and 1,000,000 degrees. Everybody's sweating. The piano is sweating. You see even sort of drops of condensation, and we really wanted also a small place where nobody drives in our couple, so we are kind of dependent also on small places if we want to be autonomous. And we found by chance this island Bornholm next to Sweden, and really just took a random chance on it, and it was perfect. It's just 1 week of fresh, cool water, of beauty, and we could sort of just explore a bit the island without feeling guilty of not being in a huge place and not going everywhere. So a bit of calm really, and every day looked a bit the same, which is nice also after a while.
After traveling all the time.
It's nice. Yeah,
it makes sense. Any surprises along the way?
On the way to Bornholm.
Or in Bornholm, or
okay. I think of a bad surprise was going to actually Copenhagen. We went 2 days in Copenhagen, but the city is beautiful, and I made the mistake of. Well, normally people pick hotels when I go, so I don't choose. I'm not very picky, and so when I have to choose a hotel, I'm like, what do I find? And I was fooled by photos that looked like really nice, and it was sort of a hotel that tried to look like a jungle in Bali. It looks like this. I thought it was just maybe a spa that looked like the whole hotel is like a fake garden, sort of with jungles, and very voyeuristic because everybody is. The swimming pool is down and all the rooms are on top. So whenever you get out of the room, you see all the people in the swimming pool and everything. So it felt a bit like a exchange kind of hotel. So
okay.
So we quickly went out and went to Bornholm straight away.
I see. That's quite an experience. I'm not sure it's that hotel then.
No, I'm not sure. No. So I'm never allowed anymore to pick hotels from now on. So
the hard way.
Yes, I learned the hard way.
So you're teaching for the first time at FCA this year, and how does it feel for you to make this transition into teaching?
Well, there's still a big question mark. Or before I'll be here at the academy. I think it's mostly also to get a chance quickly. To feel how it is to, even with not as much experience as most teachers that I had, who long teachers, quite old also, who had a lot of experience in that domain. I feel also to just see how I can manage to sort of communicate well or understand somebody else's way and trying to get a bit outside of you. I think it's important, and to see how can you transmit efficiently, can you help other people, and I think to try it already now for me, I think it's a great opportunity to know maybe it will be something immediate, maybe I'll need more time to develop, or maybe it will be like, no, I'm really not good for that. But I think it's important to know quickly, because if teaching is right for you, then I think it's kind of even more than it's even a responsibility and then a duty to if you're good at teaching, to do it. So
I really like that. It's nice. So what do you think is important in a role of a teacher?
Well, I still don't know without having done it yet, but if it's one of important things, but I imagine there's a few. I think you probably have to listen well. You have to kind of be the opposite of political debates where people arrive and they have everything prepared, and it's not about be ready to change your thoughts. It's mostly about expressing your thoughts, and that's it. And be the most convincing. I feel that as a teacher, you arrive probably with a lot of ideas on some pieces, but you have to also have the sort of humility and empathy to understand also what's in the mind of a student and what's probably his struggles to get to his vision, and that was important. I think even the sort of distance you have with a student, where you're close but you're not a friend or a family, you also have sometimes to have the burden of speaking uncomfortable truths or and I think it's part of, it's gonna be nice also. But I think there's a lot of things that is the role of a teacher, and I don't know. I think all the great teachers that I had, they probably had some of all these qualities inside of them.
Yeah. Also, what's one moment where a teacher really changed something for you in your path?
Well, there were a few, honestly.
I guess it's not only one.
And I think I was lucky because it's often I feel it's not also it's the right time you meet the right student, the right teacher. I think it makes a big difference. And I think there was one first moment in my very young age where I met Pierre-Alain Volonda, he's this French pianist who he won Queen Elizabeth back then, and he is one of sort of real genius artist, probably too genius for his own good. And he stopped quite quickly actually to the huge career that he was promised, and he was teaching in the small town where I grew up, and my father knew him, and they played together a few times, and so he came to the house to make a few lessons for me. And I think just the proximity of having an artist around that had so many quirks, so many whimsical quality. Yeah, he would spend 50 minutes of a lesson just messing, improvising on jingles of SNCF. He would make a mess, absolutely. It would be really a circus show. And then just you would play in a few things, suddenly you would just imagine like very basic things. You would say piano is the moment where you need the most intensity in your body to control it, and forte you have to let go and be the least intense, or some small things that stayed. And I think this proximity with an artist was one of the first big motivations to carry on. And probably also then there was my teacher Igor Lasko after that was the first one to push me and to make me envision music as an actual profession. He was the first one to even sort of build a strong technique in a way, or to I was very floppy, hands like butter, quick but no consistency in sound. So he was the first one to actually make me understand the power of weight, the power of control and stability in your hand. And then Rena Sharashevskaya was really also the one that pushed interpretation very hard. I think there's a memory of repeating the beginning of Chassenet's Etude of Liszt, which starts really with just tremolos and the melody in the same hand, and to be able to do it on lots of different pianos who have different weights, spend hours and hours just on this beginning. I understood really how much sometimes your body needs enormous time to get actual gesture right, or to feel so that it feels really integrated and natural. And not for everything, but some little things, they actually need, to be part of you, they need a lot of assimilation. And I never made this much effort or energy on just a small passage, but it would change because the whole piece is based on this sort of technique. So then you sort of unlock, and it always stays afterwards with you. And there's lots of different moments, and that were quite revolutionary, really.
And you mentioned that the second teacher was making you understand, what piano could be. Yeah. Like he asked you, wasn't it apropos this thing of telling the difficult truths, or like to be a bit like
exactly.
But also the way he did it, like how did it resonate with you back then?
Oh, I think because he never spoke. He spoke difficult things and would say harsh truth, but it was never in a way to you would feel it was really for music, for you. And I think it was literally the first day we met. I played something, and he was like, okay, do you want to be amateur or professional, really? Because what I see is that you could, but I see the talent, the natural, probably, emotions that you have, but I see that you need a lot of basis, a lot of work, a lot of dedication. And I was in a normal school, and I practiced a little bit, and I wanted to go fast, and once I learned a piece, I wanted to go straight to the next without going further. And so he was the first one to actually push a bit the ego of no, I can also do it. And I think I was just a bit pushed by that. I wasn't even sure at the time I wanted to be professional, but he was the first one to push a bit more and make me understand the sort of value of work in a piece, and how it really makes the whole difference on how you interpret.
Yeah, but so when do you feel like you learn the most during your education? If you can say that, I don't know.
It was in very different ways, I think, but honestly, all the teachers I mentioned, even Franck Braley also the conservatory, which was the time also where it was the most opening out to the world of music, because even if I had musical parents, I was quite we were living quite far from Paris and Weymouth town. I was more concentrated on normal school studies, so I didn't live really in the environment of the world of music that you have in Paris, probably in conservatories in Paris. And so the moment I arrived in the CNSM, the National Conservatory, was really the moment of opening up and learning, playing chamber music a lot, learning sight reading, analyzing, listening. It was more of the total parts of a lot of different disciplines in music that surrounded music. And Franck Braley was kind of also this teacher who would dissent from piano. He thought really piano is just a very useful tool, but it's not important, it's easy, it's all about just orchestration, instruments, managing to separate a lot of voices together. And so he would be a very turned off from the piano, which was also the time of me being turned a bit off-centered from the piano and more into everything of music and environment. So all of these teachers had something that made a new level or made a new understanding in some parts of music. So I really couldn't put them in a ranking or the thing. The luck was they happened at the right time, probably, in my sort of growing up. Yeah, really, I think it made a big difference.
I can understand that very much.
I think, for example, if I had Rena, I would, young, probably would have been a total collapse with the intensity of how much she would ask in interpretation, and I wouldn't have seen the value of her work. I don't know if you have...
I understand.
You had that.
I understand. I think I grew up a bit like you with normal school, going to lessons and having fun. And doing a lot of other things, handball, other things, and then little by little it became more and more goal-oriented. Yeah, and a lot of it is environment and the meetings, these meetings at the right time. So it grew into a big career, we can say. What for you? And did you have this kind of big plan, and has it, or did it just kind of little by little grow into?
I think it really grew. I think I remember the moment I wanted to really do music was in a high school where for the first time people around me were musicians. It was the first time I went to a high school for music, and so first concerts with the orchestra of high school, first adrenaline on stage, first understanding of okay, this is an actual drug even of going on stage and getting a very unique sort of chemical reaction inside your body that's it can be scary, and you can feel in a bad sort of arena where it's you're participating at your own execution, but at the same time sometimes you also have these sort of waves where you forget everything and you just are inside outside of your own body, and you let things happen, and it feels magical. So from there I knew I wanted to carry on to do that. I didn't have a lot of... I just wanted to do that and to be able to live enough out of it so that I could really dedicate that. And slowly there were steps. One of the steps was listening the Tchaikovsky Competition, where Lucas Debargue, he's a French pianist 4 years before me, who really denoted himself. He was really quite unique, very unique character, and everybody noticed him, and there was a lot of clashes of people who loved, people who hated him, but everybody who noticed him, and
very strong personality.
Exactly, yeah. And a great also unique also life, where how he stopped a lot music, he went back at it later, and he had a lot of things to say, and I was really entranced by what I saw, and that's why even because she was working with Rena Shereshevskaya, the teacher, so that's why I called her. And also I think that's why I wanted to enter also this competition. I felt there's a sort of weight of adulthood that came with it, and this is also a unique hall where there was some of the most important concerts of piano were there. There was the Van Cliburn, the Glenn Gould when he went to Moscow. You have all these things, so I wanted to be also part of it. And
it was more like a want than a plan that you made.
It was really a wanting. And after that, this is also just a tornado of things that happened. And now it's more a feeling of not maybe something in the career. It's more of a sort of now a personal journey of what do you want to get musically, what do you want. There's a lot of choices, which is great, and now it's a question of sort of a bit more defining who you are with these choices. So that's kind of.
You did the immediate wantings, and then now you're here. And also, how did you? Because I know a lot of our students will be interested in this. Like, how did you choose your management and agency? Like, was it more like a chemistry or first meeting, or what made? How did you choose the agent you work with?
That I have to say is a real luck, because that came really from my family. The agent that I work still today, she was the one that took care of my father and so she knew me when I was a baby. She was when I was 15, 16. She was like, maybe okay, we'll see. And so I started doing concerts around that time, and so she took. And so it is a very personal connection to that. I think even because that's my sort of own personal luck, I still think when I see all the other agents that we work with, they definitely needs to be something personal and something where you have an actual human being that takes care of you, and that you put a lot of trust in with them. You put a lot of your life in their hands, and it's not just about getting concerts and getting good fee or a better fee, or that. There's also a question of really how do you build on long term to have a plan. And some agents, you know that they have a plan for you, or they see something that in a more thinking long term, and there are some that just want quick and will do the most over concerts possible, and that's it, and we don't think too much. So
how much, like, what do your agency take care of? Like, do they take, because it also depends on agencies, like they take care of everything practical, or where are we on the?
Now, yes. When I was young, because it's a small agency in France, and when I started, there were only two people working, and so of course they already started to take care of a lot of the travels, the things, but there was a lot of things that I still did. I still did the emails. I still did sometimes bookings also of everything. But now it started to grow. There's a bit more people, even if there are 4 or 5 people working, and now they
also
they
social
really
media,
exactly.
Communications.
They hired people to do social media. I'm very bad in any forms of communication.
As many classical musicians are.
So I know it's they help a lot. They do a lot, and
that's wonderful. Also strategy, you plan together a bit strategy now, and
we think quite, because that's one of the weird parts of our job, is that a lot of concerts, they are planned by halls 2 years ahead, at least 1 year ahead, and so they want to know what you play for their marketing purposes, and to be sure that no artist played the same thing twice. So you've got this thing where you have to kind of make choices about that will be good still for you in 2 years. So you have to imagine that in 2 years you'll still be happy about this program, and this is you make a lot of mistakes, and I still make, but we try and now know a bit better, and know myself a bit better also, on how it functions. So we talk a lot. We talk a lot about recordings also as same programs, and finding a way that feels that's it's not just circles and going to same place without any.
So it's also about matching up with new circles and trying to expand audience and all these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely, and even find a sort of a purpose in the repertoire you plan and finding ways that I know, for example, even Mozart and Bach, I feel that they are, for me, difficult in concerts. I feel they maybe it's the long distance of time that you have between them, where in romantic music there's a lot of the composer that's in their music and it's much more clear. In the 20th century they write so much more so as a guide but with Mozart there's so much that goes through natural tradition, natural things, that it's difficult to know, and so to sort of have not a certainty, but to be okay with your choices and about your interpretation with them, I feel is tough. And
there's also a lot of weird pressure about Mozart and Bach. I don't know how that happens, and not for example, Tchaikovsky, you have to play it this way. The historical truths of these two composers are also a bit funny,
yeah, probably
right?
because there's a lot of gaps that we need to fill in, and so there's big schools that fill the gaps in their ways, and but
you don't have that maybe so much, that feeling.
Yeah, I don't have the feeling of pressure of how it should be played. It's more of a feeling that how much I feel comfortable of making a choice that, of course, we will never play like a composer intended to, and we have to also take the risk of building something that feels coherent, but that is maybe also not real, and we can't hide only behind the text. In a way, we also have to comment on the text as we interpret, otherwise it's not complete, I feel, the interpretation. And by doing that, I feel that Mozart and Bach, I'm not as informed as I want to, or not.
The resonances maybe not as strong.
I feel that I need a bit more time to find ways to kind of create a mental image of their music, or what their music is about.
Sometimes it takes time, right? Like sometimes there are like there are movies we like later in life. There's music that comes later. Sometimes it's not necessarily a question of right or wrong. It's more like a moment, maybe. I don't know. So, you won the Tchaikovsky competition, and of course we have to talk about that. That's such a turning point, also. Why did you choose this competition, and what did you learn from it?
It's really there's a big before and after, I think, in this with this competition. First I wanted really to confront myself with the idea of a competition. It's not something very musical, but I think the intensity of work that you put before is something that really changes you. It's not even just the result afterwards of the prizes and the announcement, but this amount of work was important, and I didn't want too much to like just enter lots of competitions and see and just have this cycle where you see a bit last minute you prepare. I really wanted to only focus on one and take a lot of time to prepare it, and that was also Rena's one thing. She's somebody who, especially for competitions, I didn't understand that much at the time how much she said I needed to be prepared. She was a bit frustrated that I had concerts at the same time. She really wanted me to almost stop concerts and really focus.
Go in the
studio. She was always like, no, you'll come on. Yeah, I was like, I have to go to a concert this week. I will be back after. And she was like, no, you don't understand. And I hoped that having the chance of already having a bit of concerts before, I would maybe in my mind be able to transform the competition in a concert. And I wiped first round, and I understood that it's hugely difficult to do that. And I felt really like a rabbit in front of a car, for a long time I hadn't felt this sensation of pressure, and then I understood how much it was all this work helped, so that even with stress, you could be sick, she would sort of ingrain like deep trenches of things that your body will do without thinking, and so that helped also doing this first round. And then more and more as the rounds progressed, I I really found sort of a pleasure, and it started to become much more musical, and it grew up like that, where I felt even more comfortable as it went on, and I could really enjoy the symbols. I could enjoy looking at the pictures of Rachmaninoff everywhere, the pictures of Tchaikovsky. Everybody was closed in around this the conservatory. We were two by rooms, the foreign people in the way, so we had a colloque, how to say, somebody to share the room with. It was nice. He was Kenneth Broberg. He went to the finals also with me, so he was a veteran of competitions. He had pricing von Kleibert, so he was kind of big brother. He would after every day of practice, he would call the reception and ask for big buckets of ice to plunge the arms inside. He had lots of things like that. So I was
a veteran,
really veteran,
That's quite funny.
And afterwards, it really made a huge change. There's still today lots of problems with competition. They are probably not the most optimal way of selecting who gets to get more concerts afterwards and who gets to shine. But I like still the fact that at least probably anybody can enter a competition, and anybody with all the videos, they're all posted, Medici, YouTube. Lots of people get to see you as an artist, and lots of organizers and lots of people. So it's still one great way of being seen. And then after the competition, lots of things changed. There was lots of quick decision, and in this time it was the moment to test really the limits. It was Gergiev was the head of the competition, so he would take you, and he had booked lots of dates for the people who would win, and suddenly it was not even time to go home. He was like, we will pick new shirts for you, come, we go to Finland, we go to Germany, we do this, and he wants new repertoire constantly. So it was really this sort of immediate
fire test by fire,
exactly, with him, and I think that was also one of the best ways to learn. There's some things that you only learn on stage, and to have the luxury of having enough concerts so you can try things and see what
also
doesn't
to
work.
make mistakes. And,
exactly.
To know how to recover from mistakes. And
exactly. And so that was really, like you said, a bit of a test by fire, and lots of things happened since, and it really felt a bit like it was an adulthood afterwards, where suddenly there's a bit more responsibility. You carry the name of a competition where all the laureates before are some of the best pianists I feel that I admired, so you wanted to also show that they didn't choose you in vain, and so for the first time I was not somebody who felt pressure on stage for a long time. It was just about, I don't care, play, but for the first time I got the weight, and a few years of difficult moments sometimes on stage also, and so I think it was like an adult, probably great new things to do, and great bit burdens also of responsibility probably.
That's the responsibility part is it's really special. Also, if you never really felt that before, you're kind of lucky, because I feel there's a lot of classical musicians who grow up, depending on environment, parents, and everything. There can be a lot of pressure already from the beginning. So
of course,
I don't know how with this situation changing. Your upbringing with a conductor and violinist dad and violinist mother also, how did that? So you exactly did not have too much pressure from that part.
No, in a weird way, both of them are musicians, and both of them made great choices also for me, and in a very laid-back way, so that I didn't feel too much what was going on. So they, for example, a lot of the teachers that I was lucky to have, they looked around, they knew people in the world of music, so they had something that's unique. They good advice, already knowledge of who could help, seeing how I would play. They would have an instinctive also feeling that was quite precise. But like we said, I was still in far suburbs, and I was going to normal school, and my mom was really behind because my dad was away a lot, and she was really the one taking care of everything. And it was, mostly whatever I would choose, she would really be behind, piano, sports, school. And there was not a clear logic that it had to be music. So I was quite sheltered and protected from probably some kind of pressure that you can feel immediately. Even from the beginning, you already have challenges, pressure. You've got the school exams at the end where you have to perform in front of a jury. And so, but they sheltered me quite a lot, and nice. I had this. Quite a naive way of just going and not understanding a lot and just playing for the fun of it. And progressively then started to come. You start to understand also the weight of interpretation, how small things make a difference, and slowly then you said the responsibility is something with it, and then you have also to find a way or a sort of personal journey to get out of it and find the right things also to help you before going on stage, and it's part of the whole upbringing, I think.
So I think you reached something during Tchaikovsky Competition which any musician is hoping to have during a competition, the moment that you can actually enjoy and have fun and look around and get inspired while you are performing and trying to win this thing, you know. That's really nice to hear that you reached that, and that it's possible.
Only at the finals.
Only at the finals.
I think that just also the thing where we had two concertos to play back to back, and normally we are used to, if you play a concerto, you play one concerto, that's it. And so somehow all the pressure of the competition was in the first concerto, because I felt that, and afterwards it was kind of like one big encore when it's already, I thought the competition's over, and so and then you go back on stage and perform a second concerto. This was one of the best feelings I could ever had, where there was, for me, the job was already done, and there was just music, and also one of the most amazing concertos, the Brahms second, which is just a joy where you're part of a huge symphony, and the whole orchestra has huge moments also, and I don't know, it's a one big communion of music, and
also the energy you get from the orchestra. It's how was it with this particular orchestra?
I loved it because they. After looking back at it, I think the choice of the repertoire, something they enjoy, because I was the only one to play the Tchaikovsky second concerto, and Brahms, nobody played it also, so there was only new music for them, and somehow in both pieces they have huge moments of orchestra. The Tchaikovsky second movement is one ballet where it's cello and violin, like in Swan Lake they have the huge solos and you're just accompanying. Brahms has amazing moments of chamber music, of solos, I don't know. It's. I think the choice of this program was a big part of why also the orchestra was happy to play this music, and they.
So you felt the joy and the shared moment.
I felt a bit of joy of this shared moment, really, and I don't know about the playing, but I think the choice of the program made a big difference for them, really.
That's good to know also for people out there, how they choose the programs. So then I have a few questions to you when you're not a pianist, basically, you know, outside of classical music, what inspires you? Like, are there other art forms, books, people, places? What is particularly your biggest inspiration moments, basically?
Well, books was always there from the beginning. Maybe it's the only child factor where I would just have lots of time alone, and my parents had a huge library, so it was always books, and so I still keep always when I can books with me. Movies it was something that I see a lot. I love. I feel. Probably a lot of art forms, just paintings, anything. But whereas all the composers that you play, they all use other art forms, and the more you also see in the Romantic period, and the more you advance in music, the more you see how valuable it is and how much they want to put and show the connections that they had. it's a joy sometimes also to see art forms that you don't know anything about. You don't know how it works, and you just have the sort of innocent magic of I like it, I feel it, I don't feel it, and you don't know even why. And so and it's also nice in music because I've done it since very little, and it's the thing that we focus the most on. This is a part where you see all the inner workings of the machine. You see more and more all the details of how it is made, and sometimes it's nice to just capture again a bit of innocent magic.
Seeing a sculpture and saying, "That's a nice sculpture."
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you find balance in your rhythm, like personal rhythm, between traveling, rehearsals, concerts, and time off?
Well,
big question.
Big question, big subject. It's never good. It's never good as you would want, and it would never be as perfect as you wished. But it's part of it, and it's still so exciting, honestly, to travel and to go to these places of music that are important, to see musicians that you admire. You're going to play with them. You have this. It's still extremely exciting. So I miss a bit the kind of the school part when you a bit. I feel that so much of the work that I put at the time, where you would spend 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks would be the same every day. You would go and play at the same place, and that's it. And I think you went very deep inside some of the works. And it's a time that I do not have yet, but I'm trying to change a bit this and have less concerts and have a bit more time for that. I also miss the fact of just having a lot of moments where you just open scores and sight read them and not think I have to maybe play this in 1 year or two. So
just discovering.
Yeah, just look at it, play, close it, work a bit on it, thinking, oh, maybe in 10 years I will do it again. And I don't know. I feel that this I miss a bit. So
I think for pianists out there, how important do you think sight read, or any instrumentalist, how important is sight reading for you?
For me, it's a big part of some of it started with that. I think the love of piano when I was young came only from the love of sight reading. It's sort of a language, and with piano, I think there's a very immediate feeling where one of these notes, one of these black markings is immediately on one of the keys.
Yeah.
And
you have a sound already.
Yeah, exactly.
Like violin where we're struggling.
And you have this immediate connection to, and so and the translation is really straightforward and clear. And so that's what I loved. And it's part of a language. And on top of that, I think what is probably the most difficult with the piano is this sort of huge amount of voices that make you don't have, like in the violin, this huge difficulty and precision, but it's then after a while I feel it's the same shift, the same things that you manage. On the piano, it's always, for every piece, extremely changing. And so I like the idea of
going through material,
going through a lot, and seeing quickly how can you simplify a lot of the complexity of a work, even if you take off a lot of things, but to quickly find the simplicity of the work.
And how? So if we go a bit into the future, so like, are you where you have been dreaming of being? If we can say it like that, or has the dream evolved as time goes? So it's always moving further, or did you reach some things you dreamt of, or? There's some things. There's some halls that I think one of them, some magical halls, like Amsterdam Concertgebouw. For me, it's really one of the magic halls, really. I don't know, there's somehow we all play better in this. It's so the sound envelops you on stage. You understand the sounds. Some halls you think this is what people hear, and not at all. They hear something very different from what you hear on stage. Here, it's kind of everything blends in a sort of beautiful way. And so, to be able to play there, to be able to play with some great musicians that I saw when I was a child on stage, and to suddenly see that you're going to play with them and make music together. That's also something huge.
I think then in terms of dreams, I don't know if it's something. It really changed a lot, and it's very different from what I could imagine. And nowadays, it's much more a question of how would I be happy with the musical choices that I would make? Would I?
So where do you want to go, like artistically? Do you know, or are you still searching a bit on figuring out where the next steps?
Probably in a way where there would be a bit more unity in the searching. I mean, for now, of course, recital programs, you choose them and you can go wherever you want. But concerto, chamber music, they're so chaotic, you change all the time. I don't know, it feels maybe a bit foolish, but like painters, they have the kind of a bit of a phase. They spend a few years working on this parameter and that's it, and then they move. I think I'd love to see if it's possible to do something like that in music, to unite a bit the programs together inside of a theme, inside of a theme or a parameter. If it's working on counterpoints for a while, working on impressionistic for music for a while, working on the extra musical works that are about literature. Something I don't know. I think I would really want to journey a bit more like that.
Go into some universes and include maybe other parts of the world. That's really interesting. So, apropos other worlds, you played at the Paris Olympics this year. How was that like? Share with us. It's a very different setting.
Hugely different. Yeah. It's nothing...
In rain.
In rain. It resembles nothing that what we do.
Yeah.
There was an element of chaos that was lovely to see, because and not lovely for the people organizing, because they suffered hugely and they had to change. I think nobody knows how much they had to actually cut out, switch last minute. There was so many things that it was a bit of a magic that it still managed to hold, because nobody could rehearse also, because they couldn't spoil the surprise. So it was the first one through in the space. But on my part, it was just I had just simple time, because they just said, you go on the bridge, you play. I was very happy they chose an entire piece of classical music. They didn't try and cut it for television. They didn't try and make an arrangement of this. They really just said, okay, it's a moment of classical music. You just play, that's it. Which that I really liked. But yeah, it was unique. It's something unnatural to be alone on a bridge of Paris and seeing the boats go by, having the pouring rain. Plus, for security, they were not allowed to be other people on the bridge, and I had to be there 20 minutes before, so I was already like a wet dog before starting to play. It was really cold shower and
that's a different kind of showbiz.
It's a really different kind of show. I also play. It's not something classical musicians do, to play with an earpiece to hear what's going on for the sound. It's something you never do. So it was hugely different. It's something unique. It's something that it's like great story for the grandkids. I think in a way, it will never be sort of the everyday of my life, but it was just a unique magical time.
Really wonderful for the classical music to be so exposed also in something so popular.
It was really nice that they did that. They did also the whole part with the orchestra, the Saint-Saëns. There was a lot of still of classical music, which is part of France. It's part of the heritage, and there's really only one music. It evolves and it changed, and it created a lot of genres. And they went back to using also a mixture of written music and traditional music. There's a lot of things going on, but it's really a continuous journey. And so whatever you can hear in modern music, you probably can find premises in classical music. You find the four chords, the magic of the four chords in pop song you already have in a lot of classical music. There's a lot of things that are logical. So I'm happy that some people could hear the classical music, and I find I know it's really tough, and especially will carry on to be tough in the world of culture and in the amount of support to make music exist. But I think the optimism is in knowing that probably if you haven't grown up with classical music, which is a long form. It's not something as immediate, and it can take time. I know with a lot of friends who are not musicians, there's a lot of pieces that they love, but it took them 20 times to actually start to hear and to love it and to see the form and the structure. So I think that if you didn't have that from a young age, but you're curious enough, maybe it will take a long time in life and maybe you will wake, but somehow maybe at 40, 50, you can wake up and suddenly you went to a classical music concert and you see the beauty also of having just acoustic instruments playing. There's no huge towers of sound. There's no electric parts really from
intimate.
the woods. Long time alone, and I think that shouldn't change. I think it's a sort of island that is not the most welcoming, but it's something unique, and it's there for people who need it. So.
That it's really nice. Do you? About these nerves that you felt at Tchaikovsky Competition and Paris Olympics, it's different kinds of situations. But you talked earlier about some tools. Do you have some? What do you use to deal with pressure?
I tried a lot of things. It's very personal, so probably it's very difficult to give advice when you talk about pressure, because it's no matter how convincing you are, it can only come from within. But I would encourage people to try a lot of different things. And maybe if there's only one advice that I feel it could be maybe a bit universal, is don't try to pretend that you're not feeling stress when you're feeling stress. Don't try to pretend that no, I'm calm when you're not calm, because I think it only makes things worse. I think the general feeling is the more I'm stressed, the more I try to build it up, like, no, it's gonna be bad, I'm gonna be really stressed, it's a huge thing, and to
go through the emotions, basically, right?
To go through it, to know that there's a lot of things that can deblock itself also by doing it, seeing that you're not dying after the moment, but it's something. Try a lot of things. Can be from breathing, meditate, whatever you
body
come
exercises,
through. Anything, try it. See how you feel. See if suddenly you felt this will or something more. Then suddenly it wasn't just about yourself. And if you feel this sort of wave where you forget, saying, "Oh, I did this. Maybe I can come," and slowly, I think you build a bit of an automatic way where you know before how to deal a bit more.
And it's also the pressure will not disappear and the nerves will not disappear, but it's just how you feel and if you feel open to play and enjoy. Right? Because there will always be some pressure or some nerves or some.
And it can come
that
in
doesn't
really
disappear.
unexpected ways and unexpected times, and suddenly you feel, I know this piece by heart, and it's fine, and suddenly for a reason the acoustics is weird, suddenly on the moment you'll have a burst of pressure that can come. It's how to get your mind and body to focus more on the music and not on you. It's probably you develop, but it's probably the most important. Not try and diminish it. That's the only thing.
I think that's a good advice. I would say the same thing. I agree. So, where do you see the classical music world going, and what makes you excited about it, or what concerns you?
Honestly, it's tough to predict. What's for sure is that there's a very problematic things in the world, and culture will definitely be impacted by it. And of course, there are going to be sort of the bad things that will probably come. That's in the spirit. It won't be maybe as easy or as logical to get into this world of
career or
for sure
access
career, maybe access, maybe amount of money for festivals. Everybody will probably struggle much more.
With budget cuts and
of course,
and state supports and these
exactly,
kind of things.
all of that is definitely going to be problematic. Thankfully, I feel that maybe it won't be as automatic, but I feel that we all feel how much art will be important. I think if you remember COVID, I think the joy of
if I remember.
No, sorry to
No,
come back in.
Sorry.
But suddenly a lot of we forgot how important everything is, and we forgot maybe also a bit about how precious these moments are. I think that will definitely be something that's important to remember. Then there are a lot of things that are exciting. There's a lot of new ways of, for example, I feel that in records, I feel that a lot of the sales came from the names of the composers before, because Beethoven would sell, Schumann wouldn't sell. There would be a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Here, I found with new streaming ways, it's no more the names of the composer. Sometimes if you get on a playlist or if you get somewhere, you can hear the most unknown composer, but if the music speaks, then the music speaks, and it can work. So I think there's more interesting things with forms and with a sort of mixing these, making unknown music be prominent, and to focus just immediately on the sound. That I think is something going well.
Also, when you do artistic direction, you also choose. I've noticed in your program with.
Yeah, it's true. It's a joy to actually be able to have fun, forget a bit also about a tradition of just even you have ouverture, concerto, symphony. It wasn't always the case. Even in romantic times, classical times, you would get one movement of this piece, one movement of that. It can last for 4 hours, 5 hours. It can. There's a lot of things that can be done that I think we are sort of coming back to, which is nice. That is quite exciting also.
Apropos coming back to something, improvisation. How do you feel about that?
Well, I know there's a class of improvisation in the academy. I'll probably attend to it as a student because I know that it's something that you do, and it will probably come. I'm a bit frustrated sometimes that I didn't do it enough as a child, so I don't have some of the reflexes that people who improvise have. I think just a sort of immediacy from the place of your hands, from the ears, without going through a text. The separation between the hands, where one hand can be fully independent from the other.
Yeah, that's
things
something.
like that. I don't have, and I feel limited. But of course, it's the most, I think, pure form of music. It's composition and interpretation at the same time, live. So I don't think it can get better than this as a form of a creative way. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to make promises to myself and to disappoint myself or people if I say that I'm going to improvise. But it's for sure something that I
at least for own enjoyment, or
of course, yes. It's playing with the words. It's playing with a grammar. It's playing with a language. Yeah.
And so, getting a bit back to the challenges, what do you think is the biggest challenge for young musicians today? Bit special question, but choose one.
It's difficult. It's difficult to. Maybe, and it's really a maybe because it's very hard to say without. I feel that sometimes when you start and you're at school, you look at these models of people who are playing, and in a way, we kind of try and imitate. So we try what we have projected from them, or we listen at interviews, and generally, and so if after all the interviews to say, but artists, it's very hard to communicate an actual truth. What we say is, of course, we try and be truthful, but there's a way where it doesn't reflect exactly what went through, and so I feel that sometimes we see where somebody said something, a word like "I do this in practicing, I want this," and we suddenly think that this is the solution, but it's only a consequence of the sort of whole process of turmoil that went inside.
Yeah.
So probably there's no real sort of wide solution from an artist that you can see. I think you can copy as much, listen as much, find it, but it always ends up by being something personal, and it's always about your instinct. It's always about, in the end, just this inner gut feeling of a piece, of a program, of a choice in life, of a teacher, exactly, of a conservatory, and no one of us artists who made it will have the white perfect phrase that will help anybody, and that solves every problem.
And that school will make you like that, and that teacher will make you, because also sometimes it's a chemistry question.
Yeah, of course.
That amazing teacher who made so many great concert pianists will maybe not be the right one.
Exactly, and so to not forget about that, it will still, you will be the best judge of yourself. I think it's still important to have inside of you. Yeah, maybe that's.
That's really nice. And then we have a student question. Okay. So we have a question from one of our students. We asked him a bit like, what would you like to ask? So I'm reading exactly what she wrote. It's Julia Eisman from Sweden. No, she's French, but she studies in Sweden. Okay. How do you organize yourself to maintain and enrich your concert repertoire in the short and long term? For example, how do you organize yourself to work on and deepen your knowledge interpretation of the works that you already know for concerts in the coming weeks/months, while learning new works for the coming seasons and while traveling and playing concerts?
I feel what's great in music is that no matter what you play, you get a lot, and it feeds even on pieces that you haven't been playing for a while. I think the best, whenever I have a piece to learn, the best thing, and I wish to do it every time, is you start very early, maybe even 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead, just put it a bit together, sight read through it, wait 3 months, do other things, do other concerts, go back to it, and you feel each time there's this sort of layers of paints that accumulate where the piece, a lot of reflexes you get, so you focus on the new stuff that is available, because suddenly your mind is available to a lot of new things, and things, so you refine, you change your timings, you change the sound, you look at the text more, you see what you can find from it, and then again you forget, and then there's a lot of things once you play it for the first time that you understand newly about how the piece functions or works for you, and again you put it back. I feel that's the best way, and
maturing piece, like a wine.
Yeah, exactly. Really,
so like,
it's exactly that, really, and there's a joy really from that once you see even pieces that I played 10 years ago. They also serve in a way also as a beacon of light that shows where you are musically, because when you go back to them, the way you play it, you think, oh, I played like that, so, and you understand that you're more concerned now maybe with a specific parameter, you're more concerned with the structure of the piece, you're more concerned on just the flow of playing, you're more concerned, you see it's also how you play it, and you understand also where you are changing, so I think it's a good guide of where you are. So yeah, I think this time that you can have with a piece that makes the best things, and I think when we look at artists that have a relationship with a piece, sometimes you feel that they are inseparable, and they made this piece own, and they can't exist without one another. I think it went through so much time, and then they arrive at something where it's their own, and it's almost as they have written it themselves. So yeah, I think that's the best way to live with these great pieces.
Living with the music. Then we have a few closing reflections, if you can say so. So what do you wish a teacher had told you sooner?
Okay. maybe, but it's a maybe. Immediately when starting the piano, to focus on sound and timing more than just learning the notes and the relation. I think it's such an instrument of having the most amount of possibilities of creativity and sound that you can have, and developing the reaction from your ears. What sound you want to find, and use your ears to guide it. I think immediately
like
from the young
intention.
age, I think you can already have a feeling of understanding what's it about singing, what instruments you can imitate, what sort of emotional feeling or imaginary world of hell, heaven, anything that you can try and imitate. All that, I think
And
you can,
tools. To sense it.
Yeah,
the piano is really specific.
Yeah,
I've noticed. Living with a pianist, I begin to understand it's really different from pianist to pianist how much you work with this.
For
also.
sure, yeah, maybe that, but I don't know.
Then I have the second one. What would you tell your 20-year-old self today?
I would leave him alone. There's so many things to do. Also because when you look at yourself 10 years ago, all the struggles, probably for the most part, they feel easy. Pointless. You think, I made such a big deal out of it, and it's just like little things compared to now. But it's part of it. It's part of it, and leave him alone. There's a lot. He has much more things that he's preoccupied with than listening to the advice from his 10-year-old self.
Nice. And finally, what's something you learned recently that surprised you? If there's something, if you get surprised easily, I don't know.
Of course. Let me think which one. Okay, it was quite recent, and I still can't put it exactly right into words. But we made this concert in Verbier with Theodore Courenzis. He was coming with the youth orchestra of Verbier, and I think he's somebody who's very maniac about melting everybody into one whole. A bit like Chili Bidak at the time, who wanted like all these sounds, all this to blend into one. And it's maybe not something that you always want, but I remember this particular feeling of understanding that even in this concerto, it was Rachmaninoff variations on Paganini. The amount of time he took to make the sound of the piano be exactly melted inside the sound of the orchestra, so that even, of course, there's a big part of the piano, but it felt that it was so inside exactly the other instruments, and it was always the end, and it transitioned into the beginning of your sound. I think this much level of fine tuning made it. Maybe it's not what we're used to, because we are used to seeing the difference between a soloist and an orchestra. But I felt that suddenly it made a lot of sense in this music, especially a music that is so connected, that is written totally using all the possibilities of the piano to make percussions. There's moments where then there's moments of singing, but the orchestra has to start from what you do. So suddenly in concertos, I asked quite a lot of questions on maybe in other pieces how much actually you should try and not be something else, and not distinguish yourself too much. Maybe some pieces, of course, are written like that, but I think it was sort of a blend. I'm sorry, I explained it very bad, but...
No. I think I understand it. It's this thing of having the sound connection with the orchestra, with each instrument, whenever there's a connection in the music,
yes.
That it really melts together, and it's you find some kind of synergy thing.
Yeah, and trying to really be part of a whole, and sort of let it also take you over. So then it felt there was this group strength that was much more than the sum of the parts of the things that you had prepared. That's maybe it. But it's
kind of interesting. It's really nice. Well, thank you so much for all your time and all your answers. It was in depth.
Thank you for your questions. Really.
And we are so much looking forward for French Connection Academy 26 in Odense, 3rd to 9th of July. You're very welcome to join us. And yeah.
Hope it was
Can't
interesting
wait.
for you. Can't wait also, yeah.
Thank you.